I think in the future, we're going to have to start really keeping an eye on what SBI is doing. I believe what is going to happen is what sort of what I saw happen in 2021, where at some point in crypto, there's going to be so much activity going on. A lot of information is going to get buried. Now, SBI, the reason I say that is SBI is a company who is they literally admitted they're looking at a way to maximize for their clients, their ability to make value off of XRP. They said that. So obviously, they have to put in some work. They may have to utilize some new mechanisms at some point. We need to keep our ears open for that. That's number one. Number two, who knows what new partnerships they're going to establish? They're heavy in Japan. We cannot underestimate the impact of having a vast amount of reach in Japan. Especially, and not that Japan's financial system is isolated in this, not at all. But like other major financial ecosystems, Japan has been having a lot of problems with their financial system, just like the UK, just like the US, just like Europe, etc. On ad infinitum. All right. So that could be major. Now, another part of that is that connection that SBI has in Japan. Then SBI also has connections in the Philippines. And I don't know how many other places they have. There's quite a few. And that's in combination with Ripple is over there as well. So they're all putting in work in that area. Now, in those regions, a lot of those regions over there, they've been looking for ways to replace SWIFT. Type it in, look it up. I'm telling you. That's why all those other offerings are there as well. You got offerings that are built on Stellar in there and they were some of the earliest to say how they were trying to replace SWIFT. You had Velo over there, you had EveryNet over there, you had LightNet over there. Then they all combined together to form Voltron. Somebody's going to win in that area. Now, SBI is a powerhouse. Ripple is a powerhouse. Now, here's the thing. With what Ripple just did, I think, and it's not that SBI I think SBI is paying more attention to Ripple now. They were paying attention to them before. They work with them. They love XRP. They love Ripple. But with that new acquisition of Hidden Road, that's what it's called, right? They're speaking about it in a way that tells me that they may look at utilizing what Ripple has to offer a little bit more. Now, here's the thing about with SBI and all of their different iterations. There's a lot of iterations of SBI, right? SBI. They bring a lot of business to the table. How much business? Here's the question I'm asking myself as I look at this, because I want that price of XRP to explode out of this universe. And I believe that it can. You don't have to believe that. You don't have to believe that. This is my beliefs, not financial advice. All right. All right. So now, how much of the businesses that SBI influences and has access to have they already given to Ripple? You ever ask yourself that question? I don't think they've given them a major access to a major percentage of that. I don't think so. I think it's begun in a nascent phase where they use some products. They love XRP. They use a few products, but I'm not so certain. If they had given more access to business partnerships before, and I think regulation held a lot of that back, we would have heard about it. I think we would have heard about it. Because they have access to not only a lot large legacy system financial entities, they have access to a lot of NBFIs, non-banking financial entities. They have access to a lot of large regular businesses, medium-sized regular businesses. They have a lot of influence there. And I think in these next few years, I think you may see Ripple tap into that. I firmly believe that. And it'll work the other way as well. As Ripple begins to expand, whether it's products, offerings or partnerships, I think you're going to see a lot of new collaborations between SBI, possibly to some degree. I don't know how, but to some degree, working with those that Ripple comes into contact with. And once again, I think that we're seeing, how can I say it? I don't want to say new financial system. Whatever the legacy system was, this is the new iteration of it. You have SBI, Ripple, Hedera. Remember, Lehman Bears and Brad Garlinghouse said they're going to work together. Did anyone ever find out to what degree or what project? So let's just say they're working together because that's what they said. We don't know how. We just know that that's what they said. Hedera, Cardano, folks, and that's another thing. Charles Hoskinson saying how he has a direct line to Brad Garlinghouse. He don't tell you. That's what he said, right? Am I wrong? That's what he said. Look at the articles. Read the articles for yourself. And him being so happy. They're in on something. They know something. And how serious Hoskinson has become. Then you look at how happy Garlinghouse has been. But wait, you say, oh, Mick, we already heard that already, but you didn't hear this. Wait, what's this? We may jump back to the SBI article. I didn't even get to read a piece of it, but as I'm in the flow, Wu Wei, I'm going with the harmony of everything. I'm flowing with the harmony of everything. Wu Wei. All right, so now let's keep flowing. Look at this. I'm going to bring this to you. What's going on? What does he know? What is he working on? Hoskinson says, this is the same man working with Ripple now. He's still with Cardano, but Cardano and Ripple are coming together. We're working on things together. Listen to this. Hoskinson says Cardano is ready without him, embarks on high risk trip. What? Wait a minute, but that's not, I'm going to read you this quote. And maybe I missed something. I might have missed something, folks. Maybe I did. There's a quote in here. Was he joking around? Like, am I missing a context? I don't think that they're taking this the way that, let me read it. It says, speaking from his home office in Colorado, following a trip to Paris, Hoskinson opened with a candid statement. So he already went, he came back. So he's not talking about that. This is what he says after, okay? Quote, listen, tell me what you think about this. What does he mean? He says, this time is to go somewhere to do something that is quite dangerous. So much so, there is a possibility of death, unquote. What? Let's read the rest. Maybe they add something to bring context. He characterized the live stream as a precaution, a chance to reflect on what has been built in the event something were to go wrong, while he reassured viewers that he expected to return safely. Where's he going? What's he doing? The tone of the address underscored a transition, both personal and professional. Let me scroll back up. Ecosystem has reached full decentralization. That's what they're talking about, decentralization, in the first paragraph. Hoskinson reflected on a decade-long journey with Cardano. Okay, so they don't clarify what he means when he says they're about to do something dangerous. That then he says that so much so there's the possibility of, I shouldn't have said that the first time because YouTube does not like that. I hope they don't. I hope they give that a pass. But anyway, what is he speaking of? I'm gonna get back to that. Wait, I'm just trying to give them a chance to clarify. The central focus of Hoskinson's message was the formal maturation of Cardano's governance infrastructure after more than a decade of development. So they're still talking about decentralization. They passed a constitution. Now let's go back to the time. It's time to go somewhere to do something that is quite dangerous, so much so there is a possibility of Now, what does he mean by that? A person would not speak about their blockchain in this way, right? I don't think this has anything to do with what they're doing on the blockchain. The blockchain's not going anywhere. Cardano's not going anywhere. What does he mean by this? This time is to go somewhere to do something that is quite dangerous. Now, okay, let me just throw my opinion in there. I'm probably 100% wrong. I could be. I don't think I am. But I like to be fair. What is the possibility, folks? And this is why I led this here. I had predicted some years back that every chain that wanted to be successful would need to become a bank coin. 1. 2. Hoskinson and Garlinghouse have had great conversations, and now Hoskinson's Cardano and Ripple, XRPL, will work together. They're allies now. That's 2. So now Cardano, theoretically, and Hoskinson may be able to some degree, work with banking entities that Ripple may also provide access to. So Cardano's specialty, smart contracts, etc., which doesn't step on Ripple's toes at all, hence why they're working together. They fit together perfectly. Cardano may now have access to some of those banking projects, partners, right? Hence becoming a very important bank coin at some point in the future. I'm just playing with ideas here. You tell me what you think about this, right? So there's more. Here's the thing that I tried to convey a couple of times in the past. Let me iterate this again here. And maybe this is why he's saying this. He said, so much so there's a possibility of, I'm searching for it in here, what he means by that. And maybe the article writer left something out on purpose just because that was going to cause conversation. I consider that possibility as well. Nevertheless, let me continue this thought. And if it's nothing, you can just dismiss it, right? When you go against the banking industry, right, it depends on how you do it. Now, see, Ripple's playing it safe where they're like, we're going to help you and we're going to integrate. We don't know what Hoskinson plans to do. When you go against the financial industry, it can be very dangerous. They don't want you taking money out of their families' mouths, out of their pockets. They don't want you dominating. And how did one of the banking representatives recently call DLT or fintechs a threat? Call it a threat to their industry. Literally, that was like 2 weeks ago. I read it right here. So maybe that's what he's talking about, going up against this machine to attempt to transform it or change it or dominate it. Maybe he knows something we don't. Maybe they don't try to integrate with Swift. Maybe they do try to take Swift down. Maybe they do try to dominate the financial industry. The banks also have been complaining about NBFIs, non-banking financial entities, and how they're dominating. Well, this is an iteration of NBFIs, fintech NBFI, right? Ripple, Cardano, Hedera, etc. Non-banking financial entities. How they're taking all their business. When you threaten, sometimes those people don't take stuff so well. I'll just leave it at that, right? Is that what he's talking about? Are they about to make some kind of major move in the next few years where it could get a little hot for them? Start getting real mafia-like sometimes in certain industries. Maybe that's not what he means. And I'm probably not so eloquent in how I'm conveying this, but I'm looking at that and saying, what does he mean by that? Well, you let me know what you think. All right. All right. So now let's go back here. Let's go back here because now all of these businesses coming together. I'm surprised I don't have any Bitcoin news for this one here. Hidden Road to utilize XRPL for its post trades. It says further, SBI Holdings noted that Hidden Road will transition its post trade activities to the XRP ledger, endorsing XRPL as a leading blockchain for decentralized finance and financial institutions. So SBI is letting it out the back. So they've not only taken an interest in this, but they know inside information about how this is going to work. Hidden Road clear. Listen, if Hidden Road clears for more than 300 global financial institutions, then is it hard to believe that those institutions will also utilize Ripple services for a variety of other things as well? If they're going to trust them on this level, which they're going to have to, and after trusting them on this level and witnessing how good they are at enhancing these particular things, is it safe to say they will be satisfied with what they've seen? And maybe once they're satisfied with that product, they may be, or outcome, they may be willing to work with other Ripple or XRP based offerings, XRPL based offerings in the future. I think that's reasonable, right? I think that's reasonable. So And Garlinghouse also says that. He says Garlinghouse expects the prime broker to clear a portion of its $3 trillion flows using XRPL and its native token XRP for faster, lower cost settlements. We'll see how that all works out. We'll see. Could be something. Could be major. You know, it definitely is a huge move for sure. It's a huge first step. And we're still in the baby phase, nascent stage. So we shall see. So now. So something I've been paying attention to when it comes to just close out with a little bit of Bitcoin news. You see how the energy changes so quickly? The resilience of Bitcoin. The resilience of Bitcoin is starting to really make a lot of the doubters sort of scratch their head and say, wait a minute, maybe something's really there. And I told you that resilience it shows a lot. There's still enough belief in it. There's still enough holders in it. All the positive catalysts are still there. Bitcoin price recovery could be capped at $90,000. Could be, but it goes the opposite way also. Maybe not. Maybe it's not. Look at this. Okay, so now the U.S. government is saying that there may be certain revenue coming in that may help build strategic Bitcoin reserve. This is what I'm talking about. See, this is strange, folks. This is strange. And it appears to be a setup to me. Does it seem like a setup to you? Wait a minute. So there's been liquidity injections in the U.S., right? Okay, right. We just covered an article about that the other day. Liquidity injections. That's going to make its rounds. Okay. It's going to make its cycle all the way through everything. But if it results in there being an allotment of value that could be invested, and a lot of that is going to be invested in a variety of ways. Beg your pardon. Let me just move that off my, had to move that a little bit. It's going to be invested in a variety of ways, and a lot of that may make its way into Bitcoin, especially if the bull run pops off and starts exploding again. Because I don't believe it's over. I don't believe it's anywhere near over. A lot of that value is going to go back into Bitcoin from regular individuals, from companies, from all over the place. But at the same time, the U.S. government is saying that they want to not only hold Bitcoin, which I don't believe they're going to hold Bitcoin for long. I don't believe it, but I could be wrong. But they're saying they want to acquire more. So the money that the government printed goes through the system, enhances Bitcoin's price. Then they benefit from it because they can sell Bitcoin. How does that sound to you? Holy smokes. And then on top of that, now we're reading articles like this. U.S. government hints that, the certain things they're doing to bring in revenue may help build strategic Bitcoin reserves. If this isn't rigged, I don't know what is. I'm just calling it how I see it, which is, if you're a holder of Bitcoin, it's a great thing, right? Because you're going to make a lot, not financial advice, but if you're a holder of Bitcoin and this plays out how it looks, you stand to make a lot of value off of Bitcoin, a lot of value. That's merely one aspect. One. It's not to mention or take into account that there's all of these liquidity injections that have been going on for years and years and years. So there's a continuity there. And now certain economies are doing even worse, or they're in trouble, or they're battling each other. There's going to need to be more liquidity infusions, right? They have to prop things up. They don't want to collapse. Not right now. While everybody's beating on their chest, they don't want to collapse now. So, okay. My apologies. I'm looking at this article. So, there's so many interesting things going on with Bitcoin. Not to mention, once again, I want to say states. Has anybody been keeping up with what's going on with the states? The states also, remember that. It's not just the federal government. The states some of them want to hold Bitcoin. That's major. If states hold Bitcoin and then at a lower level, you have companies. Companies are going to offer Bitcoin. It's like you have some of the companies, they'll say, well, if you do this, then we'll give you some stock in this and such. I don't know if it's happening already. Maybe it is, and I just don't know about it. I'm not a know-it-all, but they're going to offer Bitcoin. Oh, well, if you do this, you're here long enough, we'll take some of your paycheck, invest it in Bitcoin. Of course, they're going to take a little bit, but they'll manage everything for you, right? Like they do everything else. That's going to be something also, I believe. And like I said, maybe if that's already happening, let me know. I have to look into that. But that could be major, whether it's happening now or not, or this is an original idea I have. I don't know. But it's going to be major if that happens. Not to mention banks doing that as well. Everything's about to change. Bitcoin is Bitcoin has never been more bullish than right now. It's my opinion on that. That's how I feel about that. You could disagree. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.